Hello everyone, my name is Elena PUICță. I am currently studying at the Economic Informatics Doctoral School at the Bucharest University of Economic Studies from Bucharest, Romania. In this presentation, I am going to present and talk about is it a benefit using robot process automation in supply chain management? The agenda for this discussion will be firstly the keywords and secondly an introduction followed by the benefits of RPA in supply chain management, the use of RPA in supply chain management, some examples of the use of RPA in supply chain management, and finally a conclusion. Keywords of the presentation are robotization of business processes, robotic process automation, software robots, RPA, supply chain management, RPA solutions, intelligent process automation, and informatics solutions in supply chain management. Introduction. Robotic process automation has drawn a lot of attention to the impact it can have on supply chain management on automation and initiatives. Robots and automation can improve the overall efficiency of supply chain management processes by replacing traditional manual tasks. RPA offers many benefits for supply chain management, including faster cycles, improved processes, reliability, consistencies, reduce manual effort, improve data quality and accuracy, time redirected to strategic tasks, increase resource planning flexibility, and short path to acquiring value. Some of the most important definitions of RPA are RPA is a modern, innovative technology that allows companies to significantly increase operational productivity by replacing people with software robots, freeing up and redistributing human resources from repetitive routine tasks to more complex and interesting, which will add value. Another definition, WIPAT, describes RPA as a technology that allows anyone to configure computer software or robot to stimulate and integrate the actions of a human who interacts with a computer to complete tasks. SAP describes RPA as the digital transformation of processes by automating tasks and actions that provide no added value. The last definition I'm going to talk is that RPA is defined as a general term for tools that operate on the interface of other computer systems as a human would. The benefits of RPA in supply chain management are the accuracy, consistency, compliance, compatibility, programming time, and the need for a good organization and consistencies. Using RPA in supply chain management. In logistics and supply chain management, RPA can be used to monitor the inventory process, track shipment information, and communicate with customers, suppliers based on pre-configured events. RPA offers the possibility to automate various use cases in inventory management, merchandise management, and supplier management. For logistics, RPA can automate transport management, effectively monitoring goods in transit, and in production, technologies are constantly being sought to improve the processing speed, scalability, and simplify manufacturing operations. Enterprise resource planning automation can facilitate the generation of various reports, including debits, receivables, pricings, and so on. RPA can help digitize and migrate information from all data sources into an RPA system with a high level of accuracy. In this image, I am going represented the evolution of the use of RPA in supply chain management, starting from 2006 and ending with 2020. As far as can be seen, the use of robotics it's increasing, and starting from 0.35 in 2016 and in 2020 0.39. Example of use of RPA in supply chain management. In many cases in supply chain management, the adoption of RPA tends to focus on automating activities and not on automating processes. This approach gives a higher value, but also has the disadvantage that it may not meet the expectations that tend to occur. As well leads to a greater awareness of the relationship between software robots and other process-focused tools, such as process extraction and discovery, process design, process integration, and process monitoring. At the same time, implementing RPA will lead to create and change new processes, as a part of them will be automated. The first scenario of implementing RPA in supply chain management is an automation of order creation using a SAP interface. The first scenario provides a demonstration, a software robot that performs the automatic creation of purchase orders by processing data from Microsoft Excel. These are all the steps that the bot will execute in order to create the orders. Firstly, the RPA initializes the Excel file. Secondly, RPA reads the purchase orders, and after that stores the data that was read into the RPA application. Then RPA opens SAP application, RPA logon in SAP application. RPA after that will access the purchase order creation transaction. RPA will trigger the stored data into SMP transaction for the purchase order creation, and in the end, RPA will save the purchase order and it will be created. The first step of the scenario 1 is workflow to create the purchase orders. By using RPA to automatically introduce the documents in RPA system, the employees of procurement department can allocate more time to quality activities. The workflow starts with an activity that is opening the subsystem and is followed by screens of SAP that are captured with RPA. Each capture has its own activities and commands so that the bot should know what are the tasks that should be triggered. This is the process that was designed in RPA. The flow starts with the start of the SAP application, and after that there are some screenshots made with RPA from SAP. The first screenshots indicate that it accesses the SAP. After that, will access and log on the SAP, followed by the inserting the transaction for the purchase order creation, and in the end, Here, in this last screen, it's the purchase order creation transaction, and this screen has the activities to insert all the data in order to create the order, and after that, to save it. The step 2 of the scenario 1 is overflow to extract data from Microsoft Excel file. The figure represents the manipulation of data for their extraction from Microsoft Excel file so that these data are read by RPA, memorized into the application, and transferred in SAP in order to create documents. The workflow starts with the initialization and opening the Microsoft Excel application and ends with the closing of the application. The loop activities should be added in the workflow because the bots in this way should learn how to read the data for documents with more lines or in case that should be created more documents. The get activities reads the data from Excel file and stores it into the application. Scenario 2, report extraction and automatic generation of email using RPA. Scenario 2 provides an example of using software robot to export relevant supply chain reports divided into multiple purchasing groups and informs the people responsible for each purchasing group by automatically generating email. The scenario provides a demonstration of the robots in action. In SAP RPA, robots are created as a flowchart of events with interaction sequences. The applications to be automated must first be captured and configured. The next step is to create workflows by inserting the activities that define how the bot will interact with the applications. And automation projects include declaring the application, defining the application, designing the workflow, entering the activities to run the bot, and so on. So the workflow will start with the SAP application that is open. After that, RPA logon in SAP application. RPA accesses the report transaction in SAP application. After that, there will be two possibilities. The first possibility is when there is data in the report, and in this case, data will be saved in an Excel file, and after that, RPA will send an email with the files generated from SAP. The second option is where there is no data in SAP, and in this case, RPA will close the application. The figure presents a scenario for extracting purchasing reports from the SAP system into Excel files. Employees can automatically receive personalized daily reports depending on the department on which they are working, with the orders that have been confirmed or completed. The reports are received by email and are extracted in Excel file format. For this scenario, RPA is taught to trigger the commands to process the reports to the computer system and to send the reports to the representative workers without having to access the computer systems. Firstly, in this scenario design, we'll start with the SAP logon. We'll access the SAP and log on into the application, will insert the transaction and access the transaction. It will be initialize an Excel file from which will be read all the emails with the representative workers for which the reports should be sent. After the data is get, it will be inserted in SAP for the report transaction. And here will come to two possibilities. We have the first possibility where there's no data and the workflow will stop and also the application will close. And the second possibility is when there's data in the SAP, it will be extracted the report, and after that it will come into a custom activity to send the emails to the representative workers. And this will go on and on after there's no report found and the application will be closed. Conclusion: from the two scenarios provided, it was shown how RPA can perform some of the routine and repetitive tasks in supply and change management. RPA can change the way organizations interact in the supply and change management. Most importantly, RPA have helped supply and change management to eliminate many levels of manual activities, but there are many changes that are needed to be implemented to fully get the benefit of RPA. Also, enterprises need to adapt the way they do businesses, as there will be a transition from human operators to technology-enabled machines and robots. The trend in global industrial operations driven by RPA is exponentially increasing, which suggests RPA has either already or becoming a priority for many enterprises. All that have been said, and based on the scenarios developed, all are pointing that RPA can have many benefits for supply chain management and its development. Thank you for your attention.